Diablo 4 is the newest installment in the ARPG series created by Blizzard, and reviews for it have been overwhelmingly positive, so I thought, why not play it too? My name is Arcane with Cabin-Filled Crack, and here is the start of my narrated playthrough of Diablo 4.
Yeah, take it away, Ernie. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Hell is coming.
Before we even get to the game, we go through this absolutely stunning cinematic of a worker's life. One man does all the work, is betrayed, dies. But unlike in real life, this guy comes back and summons the world-ending catastrophe that is Lilith. Or something. This is my first Diablo game, by the way, so don't get mad at me if some of my takes are just wrong. Okay? Okay.
Okay.
So Lilith is back in Sanctuary and we can finally choose our class. Before playing this game, I looked at as little as possible in terms of what the classes do, whether they're strong or weak, or even whether they are just fun to play. With that in mind, we go with the Sorcerer because magic is badass and melee weapons are for those who couldn't get out of high school without scaring their teachers into passing them with the thought of having them in class another year. Run-on sentences are great. Quick travel and horror montage later. And we finally have control of our character. And by control of our character, I mean it took me about 5 minutes to realize how to even attack the mobs. Yeah, I'm really good at this game. I don't even have any spells yet. Soon we find some super nice, completely normal in every way villagers, accompanied by a writhing, unintelligible man lying on the floor. They tell us about some demon's ruins to the north and seem incredibly unconcerned about it.
This madman just stumbled into town and started causing trouble.
I know if it were me, I would be freaking the F out. Anyway, we run towards the ruins, just killing a few massive bears along the way. Thankfully these bears have nothing on elven rings, and so I don't die a dozen miserable deaths. Inside the ruins, we find Exfall, the Scarred Baron. A bit of pew-pew later, it falls and we head back to tell the residents the good news.
Do I say you he did?
We celebrate by having a party, and just like any normal villager party, trademarked, we get drugged and taken out back on a wheelbarrow, and then subjected to some pop hits. And fed the blood of Lilith until we get savaged by the raving lunatic from earlier. He ends up bashing in the head of the villager from behind. Stay classy, Eosef. After a quick 10-minute break in the barn where I tried to figure out what I wanted to level, we continue our escape attempts and find some strange petals that show us a vision of Lilith infecting all of the townspeople with her madness.
Break the chains and be beautiful.
And more bashing in our brains. It seems like Diablo and Lilith have a fetish, I see.
Okay.
After a quick genocide run through the wilds, I eventually tracked down a hermit's hovel who I would have sworn was a minotaur for a second when he showed up, but he invites us to dinner. He's kinda nice.
Then at least have the decency to join me for supper.
And it's not even us who are the meal.
And there was much rejoicing.
He tells us a decent amount more about the backstory of the world, which I completely understand and could totally explain to you guys. I just, choose not to. Yeah, that's it.
Your ties to Lilith, the visions you see. You are the key to finding her and stopping whatever she has planned.
And so for reasons, we head to Kiel-Bashad where we are required to perform a cleansing ritual before we enter. Being the reverent and religious person I am, I choose to make a mockery of it in bright squiggles. As instant karma, Lorath convinces us to go grab something of his, completely forgetting to mention that we have to pay for it. They also give us a strange amulet, but I'm sure that will never matter. Lorath gives us our next quest. Chase down another of the order that he belongs to, the Hoadra, and speak to the Reverend Mother Prava. First, we go cheer on a few trips in a very genuine, not at all condescending way. They pay us for it, naturally. Reverend Mother Prava says nothing of value, but gives us information on a demon sighting in Yelesna. This is the story of Act 1. God, that was a long intro. Nearly half the video, wow. Don't worry, they'll get longer.
Get on with it!
We finally get to Yelesna, but we can't find the knight Vigo that had reported the situation. Quick ghoul farming montage later, and we are finally ready to go follow up on the demons. And by demons, I mean we are finding a mommy dom demon who strung up this chick's wife and infatuated him with pain.
Agony and ecstasy.
Not the main story one. Whoops. Finally, we meet the main characters of this act, Vigo and Neyrelle. Narelle apparently saw Lilith enter the mine and is on her way after her mother, who is also there. Vigo, however, opposes this. He let the mother through after a nice wholesome bribe and finally feels bad enough to actually let us in. Sadly, the elevator is stuck, so we have to get our steps up as we descend through hordes of trash mobs who aren't even worth the gold they carry. Vigo shows his true colors as he keeps asking us to go back and get the knights as we are convinced more and more that things have gone to shit. Narelle, on the other hand, pushes us forward into the abyss in pursuit of her mother. Eventually, we find the dead bodies of the troops sent in the mine earlier. The one surviving member tells us,
Well, I spared her. Let her deeper in.
Vigo, as Vigo does, abandons us. We continue on anyway. Along the way, we find a few more of Lilith's petals that show us more visions of the past. Lilith is working with Nerel's mother, educating her and pushing her forward in knowledge. We learn that Lilith is searching for her son Rothma, the first necromancer, and needs the mother's help to create a ritual to get her across a fancy sea. I sure hope we won't have any issues getting across too. We find the mother, enraptured by the power of Lilith. Apparently, she was unable to pass across the seas as she does not have design power as Lilith does. Sadly, she is too far gone and attempts to kill us and her daughter.
I will finish these runes with your blood!
We rectify that by murdering her and bashing her head in, naturally.
Obviously.
We decide that we too will need access to divine power to be able to follow Lilith. To do that, we decide that a holy blessing should be enough. Unfortunately, that means we need to play nice with the priest and the resident angel Inarius. Since that sounds awful, I decide to follow after Nerelle instead. Rather than find her though, we find the gigantic wolf that I so kindly jump scared you with earlier in the video. They tell us that we are stuck in an illusion by the Horadrim and we need their help to escape. With no better options, I choose to believe them. He warns us away from the Horadrim, telling us tales of blood and woe are in the future if we stay with them. Hopefully that's not foreshadowing. And to pat on even more, he tells us that we are changing by being in the same world as Lilith after we were fed her blood. I guess that the true magic power wasn't friendship after all, but the blood of Lilith. The more you know? Question mark? Quickly? Okay, maybe not that quickly. We find Nerelle and enter the vault as the illusion is no more. Apparently we are searching for a spell that will allow us to succeed when the angel folks are assholes and refuse to help us. Not that that's actually happened yet, I'm just assuming because they're angel folks. Thankfully, we managed to find a spellbook that Nerelle is able to use to break us further into the vault. At this point, I want to take a second and talk about our build a little bit. Remember how I said that I haven't looked at anything about this game? Yeah, I'm pretty sure my build is terrible, but hey, at least it's fun. I'm playing more or less as a summoner Sorc, with most of my points in the Ice Sword summon and the Chain Lightning spell. The Ice Sword's vulnerable to enemies and deal constant DPS to everything, and then the Chain Lightning spell does a lot of work after the debuff is applied. I'm sure my build will evolve over time as I experiment more, but for now, we are the SOS! Sorc of Summoning! AKA save me because this build sucks.
Well, this sucks.
Okay, back to the plot. We keep going deeper into the vault and eventually run into Short, Herald of Lilith. She's kind of a pushover, but the fight takes forever because again, I do no damage. Surprisingly, I haven't died in this playthrough though. I'm sure if I ever do, the editor will flame me though, so look forward to it. Our prize for killing her is a treatise of spells created by Rothma, the son of Lilith himself. Interesting how that works out.
The rest of the plan is simple.
Okay, official plan B. Resurrect her mother so that she can betray everything she believed in at the time of her death. Instead of finally going to the priest though, it's time for us to do our class quest. It allows us to get a passive effect from one of our spells that can get pretty strong. For a while we are going to be using the effect of the Ice Swords, which just automatically cast free Ice Swords as we cast other spells. No idea if it's good, but Ice Swords go brrr. Ha, get it? Cause it's cold? Cause burr. Okay, moving on. We finally meet up with Vigo and the priest. Vigo is still feeling bad about taking a bribe from her mother and letting her through, but what can you do? Well, the Reverend Mother won't allow us to have a blessing unless we pass one of their holy quests. So time to take on some trials and tribulations.
Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs?
And by that, I mean running around in the dark as mobs try to kill us but fail because they obviously haven't leveled enough. Shame on you, mobs. Shame on you. Apparently the mobs aren't the only thing weak though. We get to meet the angel Inarius, who starts off strong by talking shit because we didn't bow to him immediately.
This is how you choose to approach me.
Then he talks more about how the world is rotted and we all suck and are unworthy of any help or support. real uplifting stuff.
Sly dog! You got me monologuing!
Either way, he refuses to help us out, so thank humanity we have the spells in the Haradrim Vault. Reverend Mother Prava, on the other hand, does bless us as she says that us being alive after meeting with the angel is worthy enough. We descend back in the depths of the Path of the Firstborn and find the corpse of Neryl's mother. She is brought back to life and casts the spell that will allow us to walk across in pursuit of Lilith.
Mother, no. I need you.
You need to move on, Magpie.
More steps! Along the way, we see past Rothma, who tells us that he had locked the gates to hell and hidden the key. Quickly, Inarius grows angry at this and continues to talk shit while spouting his hero complex thoughts.
The high heavens will welcome me home.
Finally, boss fight time. Lilith's Lament versus the SOS. At this point, our build has come together a little bit, but frankly, it still kinda sucks. But
It doesn't matter!
this boss is reaved by swords and sorcery, ice and lightning. Slowly. Ever so slowly. Plus, we're helped by the Knight Penitent Vigo as he protects us from a couple screen-wide attacks that would otherwise probably murder our health bar. I never find that out because I don't suck though.
Your game absolutely sucks!
Eventually, Lilith's Lament dies at our feet. With that, the final challenge of Act 1 is defeated. Unfortunately, here also ends the story of Vigo, Penitent Knight. He grew beyond his early failures and paved the way for our victory. He will be remembered. He will be carried into the light.
Neryl, is she safe?
Yes, she is safe.
Our meeting is no coincidence. I came here to help. Will you give this to her for me? I should never have taken it.
And the final stroke of this act is Lilith finding the body of her son, Rothma, with a staff piercing the way through his chest from the hands of Inarius. Words of grief follow, with words of anger following still.
All that you might have been has been stolen from me. Your sacrifice will not have been in vain.
Lilith removes the key to hell from the staff and promises that it can be used for far more than that. We meet back up with Neyrelle and tell her the news, and with the uplifting statement that everyone failed but Lilith, we end the act. So how are you guys enjoying the story so far? And do you guys enjoy this style of content? Let us know in the comment section below. Hope that you all are doing great, and may our world not be sanctuary in these trying times.